Hi, it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching Stargirl Season 2, Episode 8. Summer School, Chapter 8. The repeated 8. They muddle me up. The repeated numbers, I don't know words. I am stressed because Eclipso is going after Beth. It would seem after that last episode, I feel like he's going to go and pick off the team one by one, leave them all stranded so he could just take over. Which I suppose does kind of make it seem like he does view them as a threat, which is something. But also, I don't actually know right now how much of a threat we would be to him. How can we stop him? We need to figure it out. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, though as I always say, wait until the first of the month or the beginning of the month to sign up to my Patreon or anybody else's, because that way you don't get charged twice. But yes, without further ado, let's go.
I put together some college brochures.
Oh, that's
and
actually
information.
Very sweet. Or like good teachery for once from this lady. You are so capable of it.
I could start over again. To be who I wanted to be.
If that is something you want, Rick, I am going to fight for it with you.
You get your ass off my property. Hey.
It's all right, Rick.
He's
I'm
had
happy
no.
to go over this anytime.
He has had no chances in life with his dick of an uncle. See, that is a sign that Rick needs all the support he can get from his teachers.
You'll end up in jail before you end up in college.
No, you won't, my love. Someone like him should never have been allowed to take on a child. Can I adopt Rick? He's got such a good heart. I'll give you a hug and a home and support.
I am sick of this! Do you hear me? I am so tired of giving everything and getting nothing back!
I know, my love.
I'm tired.
I know. I know, my darling, but everyone that gets to know you, they see such light in you. You will get through this and you will thrive with whatever path you choose to take. It's the first time they've actually come face to face and all this time has been feeding him. Rick deserves the world and I'd like to murder his uncle, and then maybe when his uncle's murdered, I'll adopt him.
How can I help her now?
That's all she wants to do.
Eclipso wouldn't ring the doorbell, would he?
Oh god. The lives they lead now. Please don't be a creepy cute child. I think he's going after Beth, so they'll be safe. Oh, what's happening again? Eclipso?
Turned 16 in May, but I am very trustworthy.
Yeah, Mike is basically their age.
I need to keep moving. I'm in the shadow.
Yeah.
Hello? Dr. McNider?
I wish that, you know, given that Pat and Barbara have kind of taken on this responsibility with these children of supervising them when they do superhero stuff, and given that they're all 16, I mean, I don't know, maybe Rick is slightly older, which is why he got college stuff. Then I suppose at like 16 you do need to start thinking about college so you can be like prepared or know what grades you need and all that sort of things, I suppose. But regardless, these kids, they've taken on a responsibility with them. Now, obviously they have not become parents to these children, but I think especially given, I feel like when we first met Rick, Pat definitely kind of connected with him in that sense of, I knew your father, and it's wrong that you don't have him in your life, and it's wrong that you don't have anyone in your life. That I feel like, I wish Pat and Barbara were doing a slightly better job of being there when they have problems. Especially as, you know, you look at the three kids Courtney ended up picking as her friends and as her team. One of them has no parents and is being raised by, at best, a neglectful, at worst, an abusive uncle. Then you have Yolanda, whose parents disowned her, essentially. Like, yes, they let her live under their roof, but they are being emotionally abusive towards her and neglectful, and, you know, she has no one. And then you have Beth, who has parents that seemingly are perfect and love her, but even before the divorce stuff, were never home. But you kind of have these three children that could really do with adults to lean on and to have be there for them. And we know that they are, when they notice, wonderful parents, very supportive, very kind. I do wish that they'd kind of built, or will build, a rapport with these kids so they can also be a shoulder for them to lean on. You know, a confident adult they can turn to when they don't have any others. Because it's kind of sad to me that Beth basically struggles alone and she kind of feels like she could talk to Rick. Yolanda has just been struggling entirely alone because the only person that knew her struggles to the full degree was Courtney, and Courtney is a kid too, so didn't know how to help. And Rick, it seems, is bonding with Solomon Grundy, which, again, I don't know how much of a receptive listener or useful advice giver he's going to be. I wish that kind of the adults, given how important they are in these kids' lives and how much responsibility they've taken, I would like to see a world in which they could be almost, if not replacement parents, because they will have some form of that, but aunt, uncle type figures, you know, someone that is there to guide them.
Treated him terribly, made him worse. So one day,
That man should not be allowed near a child.
when I went back to visit him a year later,
You're such a good man, my love. And you're only a baby.
he was a different dog. They loved him.
That's speaking about himself as well, and even Grundy.
Maybe you just need someone to be a little kind.
Like, in a way, he's softened a lot recently. And kind of is becoming more truly himself openly since Courtney and his friends showed love to him. Maybe he does! What suffering has that guy been through? Oh.
Because you're my friend. I'm sorry I haven't said that before.
Oh. The staff knows. You're okay, Courtney. You're very, very young, and you are dealing with things that no one should have to deal with, even adults. And you're doing a brilliant job. You are muddling your way through it, and that's all the rest of us can ask. Oh, none of this is real, is it?
Delicious.
Raising you, trying to
Yeah,
work.
this is 100%
We
Eclipse,
just
though.
lost sight of each other because of you.
Beth, you know your parents would never, ever say that. But she's a kid who's hurting and scared.
So a big thanks to the Blue Valley Hunters Association who
Fuck.
volunteered to get out there and kill the...
We need to do something about Cosmo.
Who's Cosmo?
The staff.
You named the staff.
You named the robot.
No, you did.
Pat, Grundy needs our help.
I'm so glad he reached out. And I thought for a minute Rick might try and do everything by himself. Please say Barbara's here. Though if she is, she'll be Eclipso. Beth, my love. If they knew you were in trouble, they would be here for you, sweetheart.
Stealing. That's what you people do.
Shut up.
Yeah. Murder this child. Oh, I hate how alone they are in these fights against Eclipso. That they don't even properly understand our fights against Eclipso. Beth, this isn't real. I'm so proud of her for figuring it
The
out.
staff chose Courtney. Thought you people were athletic. I guess.
Why is Eclipso
stereotypes
racist?
are wrong.
Racist.
Like, seriously, as Eclipso looked in the mirror, he's not exactly Hitler's favourite type of person. He's a weird monster man.
Now, where's the girl's gone missing?
What?
What?
10-year-old.
I think she is, boys.
You don't belong here.
One of these things is not like the other.
Oh, this
You're
kid.
all wrong.
No hunters. Or Rick.
I was wondering the same thing.
Well, is Eclipso double timing? Like, is Eclipso in Beth and Rick's head right now? Because that is, if you can be doing this to two people at once, I'm freaking terrified. Yeah, they can't hear gunshots, but they can hear Rick.
Grundy?
Rick. This isn't real.
Grundy.
Because what if Grundy is actually a monster and he's been feeding him all this time, so he's been enabling him? And, like, does that mean he can't be saved as well?
Did you kill her?
Hurry up, please, Pat and Courtney.
Grundy!
Is it real? Oh, fuck, it is real. That's McNider's daughter, isn't it? Yes, it is Eclipso. Okay, Eclipso is with Beth and with Rick. Get to Rick right now, he needs you.
Eclipso.
Rick needs you. Beth does too, but you don't know about that one. Is Grundy here not knowing what's going on. It was Grundy just chilling eating his apples. Where's his uncle? Happy 4th of July, everyone. Is he punching his uncle really or something? Oh, I hate the eclipses with both of them. I didn't even. He's too powerful.
You can pretend to be brave, but you're not.
You don't know anything.
That is bravery. Bravery is carrying on despite fear.
You, Beth.
You can't be brave if you
That's
don't
what
feel
scares
fear.
you the most.
My love, fear is carrying on. Courage is carrying on despite being afraid. You were fine. That touched a nerve though, because he revealed himself to her. Is he beating his uncle? Please don't tell me that, because he'll get in trouble for that. You are so brave, Beth.
That's not Grundy!
Rick,
I mean, his uncle is a terrible person, but his whole life could be ruined by this. The uncle's a dick, so I don't overly feel bad, but Rick will. If you report this, I'm coming to your house and finishing the job. Okay, no. Rick didn't know. He was a Calypso. Because if Rick wanted to beat that man, he would have done it many times over. Oh, Rick. That conversation he had with Grundy, or potentially with Eclipso at the beginning of the episode, about the dog that, and then like, is Grundy a monster because he's always a monster? Holy shit. And there goes the hourglass. Beth is the only one that's seen through Eclipso.
I belong here.
You do.
Not scared. I won't. I'm strong. Proud. I chose
Yes.
myself to be Dr. Midnight.
Yes, Beth.
I chose me! And I love being black.
Good girl. I hate this. We've got to save him from this. It wasn't his fault. You can't tell the police it was Eclipso. The uncle needs to not press fucking charges. So proud of Beth. I hate this. The real one, seeing his friend getting taken away. That was really him at the beginning! Okay, that kind of makes things a little bit better. Oh lord.
What happened?
You beat Eclipso in your own brain and I'm so proud of you.
How did I get back here? I'm the new Dr. Midnight.
We've been at work, Beth.
That was Eclipso starting his mind games on you.
How do you... And don't let anyone, no matter what they look like, tell you any different.
Exactly, especially if they're a weird goblin man.
Beth, I'm here for you too, Mom.
Oh, I love their relationship so much. Are they next? I feel like they're next. Oh. Is that bad weather because Eclipso's nearby? Or is Cameron really freaking out right now? Or is Jordan not dead? Did he reform in his ice pieces? Did the ice refreeze and then reform into a man? I don't know. This episode was, in some ways, absolutely heartbreaking, and in other ways, absolutely like, yes. Beth's plotline, I am so proud of her. You know, to begin with, I really bought into the fact that like Rick's plotline was actually happening, that there were really hunters, and that, you know, he was having to kind of, as it obviously went on, it became clearer that that was not all happening. And it just breaks my heart so much for Rick, for everything he went through in this episode. For the beginning, where that teacher kind of reached out and tried to really make good on her apology, to be like, I'm going to be here for you here at some colleges, you know. She tried to connect with him. She tried to be like, I had a fresh start at college and you can do the same. You know, you can escape these preconceptions. And it kills me to think of how the episode ended. Like at the beginning of the episode, his uncle was like, oh, you'll go to jail before you get to college. And like, Rick would never. Rick isn't this bad loner kid who's going to hurt people. You know, that might have been a front he put up to protect himself over the years, but we've really seen him growing into who he really is and blossoming into who he really is. when he's surrounded by people he cares about. And I feel like that story he told Grundy about the dog, Rick is also the dog in that story, in the sense that when he had people that showed an interest in him and cared about him, namely Courtney, her family, Beth, Yolanda, people that didn't just treat him as the weird poor loner kid, it made a difference to him. We really saw him opening up and letting his vulnerable side down, to the point where now Yolanda's like, well, I know you couldn't kill anyone, like, and he's the person Beth turns to talk about her issues. I think that has shown so much growth in Rick, and how despite what life has thrown at him, he has the capacity to give and to be good. But we've also seen how hard that is when life is just trying to squash you, and he's trying to be, and in order to let it not squash him, he has to just keep fighting and keep giving away parts of himself. And it's such a painful point in his life that without Eclipso, Rick would only have bright things in his future, and I truly believe that. I've got to pray and hope that his uncle pulls through. Obviously he was using the hourglass, so he was super strong in beating him up, but I think if Rick was really going to go attacking his uncle, he'd have done it after he threw the college stuff on the floor. He'd have done it any of the other times we've ever seen them interact, because they've only ever interacted with his uncle being a dick. Like, if that was something he was going to do, I have to pray his uncle wakes up and then doesn't press charges. Though, I mean, can the police press charges for him? I don't know. How does Rick get out of this one? Unless the whole town's going to learn Eclipso's real and we can be like, oh, that was Eclipso, that was never Rick. It really breaks my heart, because I right now don't know how they're going to get him out of this, and I feel like that is his whole future down the drain. And like, obviously, yes, he could get through whatever this is and not go to college and still be okay. I'm not saying college has to be the path Rick takes, but Rick is someone that has had such limited options in his life and so much pressure put on him, and so just the opposite of pressure, but like so much like, being thrown away is just, he's worthless, that he deserves every avenue to be open to him and every option to be open to him, so he can choose whichever one fits him. And it breaks my heart. I'm glad he has Courtney and Pat. I mean, did they tell the police, oh, we arrived, we don't know what happened? Or did they tell the police, yes, we saw Rick doing it? I mean, I feel like they're going to have to say that they arrived after the fact to give him any kind of a chance. Especially as it's not even a case where Rick just snapped one day and attacked his uncle. Rick truly thought he was attacking a monster that Rick had enabled to live and go free and had hurt a child. You know, it was respect Grundy right now, Eclipso played on Rick's capacity for goodness. Eclipso preyed on Rick's heart, on how he wants to do the right thing, on how he is scared that deep down he is just the monster, but how he gives other people a second chance that he doesn't always get himself. That is what Eclipso played on, because the minute that child was dead, Rick thought, all this time I've been protecting you, I've been defending you, I've been feeding you, and this happened and I helped cause it. I'm like, I have to make it right, which is just, it breaks my heart, because Rick has been growing so much, and now I feel like it's almost as though all the people that never believed in him are going to be proved right, even though that isn't right and they don't know the whole story. And just because I know that like his uncle could not press charges, and that might make everything go away, but also I do think, can't the police press charges anyway if they're like, yeah, like, I did that, we know he did. I don't know what we're going to do for Rick right now, and it shatters my heart. Grundy and Rick have an actual friendship. You know, at the end, Grundy said friend. And yeah, I know Grundy is very animalistic, and he was very much captive and under control of the ISA. And the very fact that Rick has been feeding him and looking out for him from the beginning does show you what a good person Rick is, and how much he does not deserve this. And I just think, I'm almost scared now, because what's Grundy gonna do now that his friend is in trouble? Is Grundy gonna try and free him? I mean, you know, Grundy is very animalistic with his instincts, and that is his friend. That is his friend who, you know, sat with him and ate apples and has brought him food every day. I'm scared now of what Grundy might do. But I'm also intrigued about where this is going to go further. And then we have Beth. Now, I love the fact that they let us work it out before it was properly revealed, but the fact that they they really made it seem like he just went after Yolanda, and so it was like, oh, he's going to go after Beth, and I was thinking, oh, next episode he'll go after Rick, whereas he could go after two people at once in such a different way. I think obviously with Yolanda, with Beth, he was physically there. With Rick, he knew exactly how to orchestrate the scene to play on every single one of Rick's insecurities and every single fibre of his goodness to make everything play out the way he wanted. With Beth, he was physically there taunting her and being a racist bastard, which I know was him targeting Beth because in her life she will have come up against racism, and that will have been probably an insecurity she had to work through at some point. And the fact that she's able to say, and I love that I'm black, you know, the fact that she's got to that point is everything, and I am here for it, and I support her 1,000 times over, and she should never have ever had to face racism. But even if she's been lucky and somehow never faced it personally, just turn on the news and you will see it everywhere. So I think Eclipso being racist when he's a weird goblin man was a bit dumb. I get why he did it, but look at the mirror, Eclipso. And again, I'm not being racist to goblin men, but you're just a particularly vile one. For him playing on her parents saying, you know, oh, you know, it was because of you. I still make it all about me again. It was so funny when my parents got divorced. I knew it was because my dad had an affair. I knew, and with someone 18 years younger than him, and is now happily married her. I knew that, like, that was why. And I still remember when I went to my school, like, guidance counsellor person because I was having anxiety, the first thing she said to me was, you know it's not your fault. And I was like, yeah, I do. But obviously, had my dad sat down and been like, I had the affair because of you, it might have played on my mind. I was a couple of years old, I was 16, almost 17, so yeah, I was around Beth's age. Maybe back then I would have been like, oh, my fault. But I think the concept of that was so cruel. And then him just upping it and upping it and upping it. And I love the fact that Beth figured out it was Eclipse. Now again, the scenario Beth faced was somewhat different to the scenario the others faced. Like, Eclipso was more obviously Eclipso. But even within that, I think she not only figured out who he was, but he played on every single one of her insecurities, but she believed in herself enough to fight back. You know, she figured out it was just an attack, and she believed in herself enough to say, no, I am good enough. Yeah, maybe they didn't pick me to be Dr. Midnighter, but I did. I picked me. I choose me every time. And that self-love, that self-belief is everything. It's something we should all have, we should all strive to. I am working on liking myself every day, as we all should. And I think just for Beth to see her have that self-belief and that self-confidence and that kind of, you know, yeah, maybe I forced myself on the team, but it doesn't really matter how you end up there, because Courtney at the end of the day could have said, well, no, sorry, you're not on the team, I'm taking the goals. But she didn't. She kept her there. Beth has proved herself time and again. And to be on the JSA, you don't have to be a fighter. Like, yes, that is a big part of it, and I do feel like we maybe should be teaching Beth some kind of self-defense. Like, they all should be getting training of fighting somehow. But Beth is more of the reconnaissance, the intelligence, like the intelligence both in being intelligent and in, like, intelligence, like not spying, you know, like getting information. She brings a valuable asset to the team, and once we've fully worked out all of the grooves and everything, she might be the one that in the fights is slightly taking a back seat, but she'll also be the one going relaying information to everybody else. She's become a valuable member of the team, and they talk to her, they trust her, they seek her out. And you know, maybe she's not like the centre of the team because that's Courtney, but in a similar way Rick isn't really, because you know, Courtney and Yolanda refer to each other as best friends. Beth and Rick are just the other two. But I think Beth knows her worth. She knows that she is good enough and that she has proven herself on this team. And she's been struggling with that within herself, and I think Eclipso, if anything, helped her beat it. And then I love the fact that with the goggles on, she can fully see through the illusion, she can snap out of it, but it's the fact that she hurt him with her own self-belief. It's almost like maybe another way to defeat him, potentially to drain his power, is to help people work through their fears and get them to that spot where they can say, no, that's not true. Where Yolanda can say, I'm not a bad person because I did that. I had to kill him. It was him or me. He'd killed his son. It wasn't my fault. You know, for Rick to say, I am not a monster. I am not inevitably going to become a monster just because I've had a hard life. I am good enough. You know, if everybody can fight against their fears, like the whole of Blue Valley, maybe Eclipso will lose his power and not be able to do anything, and then the staff will be able to defeat him. I don't know. But it's also fascinating. Beth as well, making more contact with Dr. Midnighter. I love he's in the Shadow Realm with Cindy, I reckon. I mean, maybe they're not together currently, but, you know, they're in the Shadow Realm, and she knows about that. And yeah, Rick broke the hourglass. Like, that thing is smashed and the sand has gone into the air. Now, part of me wonders if, like, the sand went into the air and, like, Rick inhaled it or something, so it's going to be inside him somehow. Because Rick is one of our main characters, and I will be, like, pissed if they're like, yeah, and then he just went to jail and we never see him again. I will be like, you what? So obviously we have to see him again, and obviously we want him on the team. Now, maybe there'll be a different role he will find within the JSA that will suit him as well. Or maybe it's going to be kind of, he has the strength within him always, and the fact that he is going to be able, if that's true, then he could, like, learn to control it and not use excessive, like, not hurt, use excessive force. Even when trying to get justice, he could learn to kind of rein it in a little bit, and then he will realise that he's not a monster and be Eclipso. I don't know, but I'm intrigued about that, because how are we going to keep Rick on the team with the hourglass being gone? And Courtney is very much dealing with the same thing that a lot of them have been dealing with, powerlessness, because Eclipso is going around destroying her friends. I think she's going to get a wave of relief when she realises Beth beat him, but, you know, he's destroying her team, her friends, her family. I think at the end that was him going after Mike and Barbara next, which kind of makes sense. I feel like Pat, Mike and Barbara will be next, and leaving the staff last, Courtney till last. But that sort of sense of powerlessness, especially with her staff, her weapon, the thing that makes her Stargirl, because she uses the staff to fight while she is, you know, a brilliant gymnast and all that side of things. It's the staff that helps her fight. She doesn't have that, she can't help, she can't do anything, and they're just kind of on the back foot waiting. But we're preparing, we're building, we're doing our best, but we are losing battle after battle. But we're going to come back stronger and we're going to win this war. So I am very scared for the next episode, also very excited, and just very stressed. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, though as always I would wait until the beginning of the month to sign up, because you get charged once the day you sign up and then again on the 1st of every month. And yeah, without further ado, let's go! Let's go! It's because that's my spiel. I find it really awkward talking about Patreon, and I find it really awkward doing intros, so that was like my intro. No. Thank you for watching.